Hello again, friends, and welcome to another segment here on Doc G's Wine and Spirits Review. So today I have a very interesting topic, especially for me, and I'm sure to some of you. Maybe some of you have tried this, but as you can see on the table here, there are 3 boxes. And today's topic is going to be boxed wine. I have to confess, this is not something that I've never even sampled wine from a box. I have to be totally honest. So what I wanted to do today was give you a basic introduction from my eyes to let you know what I know about boxed wines. I did a little bit of research here, but I don't want to bore you and take a deep dive into all of that. My main goal here today is to taste a red, a white, and a rosé wine from a box, something that I have never done before, and I want to share that experience with you. So before we do that, let me just tell you what I know about boxed wine without going into a deep dive. In the industry, it's kind of known as bib wines, bag in a box. But as you see here, these aren't even in bags, and I'll talk about those in a minute. But the origin, based on my research, of the bagged wine, boxed wine phenomena started in the mid-60s in Australia. And I'm going to put a post up that has, it'll be titled Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Boxed Wine. It is from a website called The Tasting Table. And I will post it for you so that I don't have to take a lot of time here talking about it and just reciting what you can read on your own and at your own leisure. So what I'd like to do is just sample 3 wines. I've got 3 glasses here on the table and give you my honest reaction because, as you know, boxed wines certainly for some people have a certain reputation, and for wine connoisseurs, I'm sure they just kind of hold their nose and go, boxed wine, not for me. So before we even pour, let me just talk about a few highlights of boxed wines that I think are important for you to realize. First is that reputation. There's this reputation of quality, and the quality is supposed to not be so good. And I imagine that is true with boxed wines. I have not had enough to know if that is the case. I'm going to find out here today just in this small sample that I'm going to share with you. However, I would suggest to you that there's enough good wine and bad wine in bottles out there. So does it really matter? So let's just throw that argument away and just go with it as it flows. So some of the things that about boxed wine that I'll share along as we talk are different things that you might want to take into consideration should you decide to delve into this. And I would hope that if you, in the comment section, if any of you have ever had boxed wine, I would appreciate you sharing some of your information, because I am going to continue my research into this, because when I was doing my limited shopping for these wines, I found out that there are all varieties: blends, Cabernet, Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Grigio, Chardonnay, etc., rosés. Obviously, the only thing you're not going to find in bagged wine is a sparkling wine. That's kind of counterproductive. So it's not even scientific that can happen. But the wines that I have seen, it's an amazing array. They sell them in the supermarket. They sell them in the wine and spirit shops, Total Wine. I mean, they've got a whole page and page and page of wines. Some of them get good reviews. Some of them do not get good reviews. The only review that matters to me, and the only review that should matter to you, is the review that you give it. So I'm about to start with our first white wine, and this is a wine called Botamini. And this is not really the bagged wine, but there are other ways they pack it, and they pack them in these things called Tetra Paks. And these Tetra Paks are supposed to be the same thing, same concept that you get in these bagged wines. Truth be told, I bought these smaller ones in case I don't like it. I would be stuck. Most of these come in 3 to 5 liter bags, which is quite a bit of wine. So I did not want to do that. So for $8.99, I think more or less, I found this Sauvignon Blanc, and they tell you right on the box where this Sauvignon Blanc is from. This happens to be a Chilean Sauvignon Blanc, which I know if I buy a Sauvignon Blanc from Chile in a bottle, it's probably going to be pretty good. So let me talk about the package here and some of the things that are characteristic of buying wine in a box. So one of the things that they tout is that it has a smaller carbon footprint than a 750 milliliter bottle. And for those of you that are environmentally conscious, this may be something that you want to take into consideration. It results in 75% fewer greenhouse gas emissions, 50% less waste, lower fuel emissions thanks to lighter shipping weight. And it's made primarily from paper, a renewable source. So there are all things that are touted about these wines. What's important to me is how it tastes. So this one's easy to open. I'm going to get a glass. I'm going to pour it. It usually doesn't take me this long to have a sip. But we're doing not a blind test, but this is what they describe their wine as. This Bota Sauvignon Blanc has a zip of citrus, melon, and a touch of minerality. And then they talk about pairing it with lighter meals such as grilled chicken, salad with goat cheese, etc., etc. And there are hosts of other foods. So for the first time, Doc G in front of my audience has a nice nose. I'll be honest with you, if I don't like it, I'm going to tell you. I'd say it's average. It's not bad. For the average wine drinker who has not had a lot of Sauvignon Blanc, they're going to sip that and go, that's really not that bad. It's a nice sipper. One of the things that you will find that's advertised for these boxed wines is that they can store longer. That's specifically these, and I'll talk about this when I open this box. But these, and I'm going to do this one last for that reason. But these containers, once you open it, you're injecting oxygen into there, and oxygen is wine's enemy. And it begins to oxidize and it will break down. So as you can see by the size of this says this one is equal to 3 5.6 ounce glasses, believe it or not, and that looks like a half quart of milk or a pint of milk. This has gotten best buys from wine enthusiasts. So you basically get about 3 glasses of wine out of this box. I'm going to pour a little bit more. I'm actually going to save a little for my wife to see if she actually likes it. We can seal that Tetra Pak back up, and I'm going to take another sip. Doesn't have a real strong nose, but I would probably identify it as a Sauvignon Blanc. What's key? It's not bad. It's really not bad. I was expecting maybe to want to spit it out, but it's not. So that goes back to the point I was making about the reputation of boxed wines. People who hike and camp and want to take these things along with them and not have to worry about glass breaking, disposal. These are ideal. They're ideal for people who sit by swimming pools like I do and want to sip wine. Here's another alternative. Not the best Sauvignon Blanc I've ever had, by far, not the worst. And for the money and the QPR of this was $8. It's 3 glasses of wine. Think about that. Think about that. So let's put that one aside. And I'm going to skip to the red one. And the red one that I bought is a Pinot Noir. As you all know, I love Pinot Noir. Now, Bota box is one that you'll see prevalent. You see it in the supermarkets. You'll see it in major wine retailers. PA Wine and Spirits. And this next one, Black Box, they're from Lodi, California. And the reason I chose Sauvignon Blanc and Pinot Noir to do my original taste test is that those are 2 wines I drink a lot of. So I know a good one from a bad one, at least for my palate. So this, again, is in a Tetra Pak. They call it a mini pack. It's got 3 servings, easy to open, resealable, etc. They keep talking about this unbreakable design goes where glass can't. You notice I didn't need a corkscrew here today. You don't have to twist it. It's a smaller carbon footprint, easy on the environment. So they keep touting these things. Wines in a box have been around for a while. They do have a bad reputation because the rumor was, not rumor, but the word on the street was that these wines were just what they didn't want to serve otherwise. It's the same wines, made the same way. They put them in a box and seal it in the bag, and they sell them. The sales of these are phenomenal. So, and there are some higher end wineries that have put wines in a box. One that I'm going to visit in just a couple weeks out in California called Tablas Creek. They're a world-class winery. They do a 3-liter box of rosé, a 3-liter box of a white blend, and a 3-liter box of a red blend. And they want $95 for theirs. That's a little high, but their wines are fantastic. Whether they're in a box or not does not matter. It's all up to the winemakers how they make their wine. So let's have a go at this Pinot Noir and see what we think. Got a nice color. So there's one glass of it. This is from Black Box Premium Wines, and they said this is a California Pinot, enticing aromas of strawberry, cherry, and rose petal with complementary notes of toasty oak. Fresh berry and cocoa lead to a delicate, lingering finish. We'll see. Let me try this. Wow, smells like that's much better than this one. Scout's Honor, no lie, that is a very good Pinot Noir. I'm just going to say it right out. I would drink that. I would serve that. If I did a blind taste testing with someone and asked them to go behind a curtain and come out and have 2 glasses here, one from this and one from a bottle, they're not going to be able to tell the difference. They might like one better than the other, but they're not going to dislike this one. This one, let me take another sip here before I get too excited and fall off my chair. Nice thing. It's not everything they said, but it's a nice wine. That is really, really very good. So, without further ado, let's go to our last one here. Now this one, I wanted to find one that was, I didn't want to buy 3-liter bottles. I don't drink that much wine. But what I wanted to do is show you the main concept of how these come. This is a 3-liter, it's called Arrumaco. It's a Garnacha Rosé. It's 11.5 ABV. This one was, the white was, they'll tell you all the time, I think by law they have to. This was 12.5, which means it was dry. And I think I had seen on this one was 13.5. So those are right in the range of what you want your wines to be. So this Arrumaco, and if you're gonna pour out of one of these, you either have to have it on the edge of the table or something to elevate it. So I brought this little device here to elevate it. But the way these generally work is you punch a hole in it here. Now this one has a foil seal on it. There are different types of plastic that they use. And then I'm doing this here for the first time to see how much I like this. There's a little, you can see there, a little extra tab. And we're gonna learn together how to pull this spout out of here. Not too cumbersome, my fingers are a little bit too big. So, just bear with me here. There's a little spot there to slide this nozzle out. Not too bad. You just want to do that before your guests get here. And then we unseal this. Now, this is the one that, okay, that's how you get it out. This is the one that they will advertise for you that will last. Some websites and some wines will tell you 4 to 6 weeks. I did a little bit of background research and they said, yeah, if you keep it in the fridge, but wine just, whether it comes out of the bottle or not, starts to break down. So they said basically 2 to 3 weeks tops. So this kind of wine, if you're a solo wine drinker and you just like to have a cold glass and you want to have that same wine on and off for a couple days here and there or over a couple weeks, boxed wine might be your route. So let me move this aside. But what's more important is we want to taste this one. So let me try, see how this thing works. There we go. Just push up on that little knob there. There we go. Maybe you can hear that. Beautiful color. Garnacha makes a fantastic rosé. And you all know from the multiple spots that I've done on rosé, what a rosé fanatic I am. So this is going to have to be good or it's not going to get my thumbs up. Wonderful strawberry. Now this one is from Spain. It doesn't have all that background information on it. It just says Garnacha Rosé, which is Grenache Rosé. out of Ramaco Wine of Spain. It says 11.5, which means it's not quite dry. It might have a little tinge of sweetness. I'm shocked. That is way better. I'm going to put that in my fridge, and I'm going to see if it lasts 2 to 3 weeks. So there's a Garnacha Rosé. I'm going to have a little more of that. I apologize for this weird setup here. I didn't have a stand. I'm learning here on the run here that to serve this properly, you need something to elevate it so you can get your glass under it. Nice too that people can self-serve. You don't have to worry about pouring wine for people. But what you do here now is you don't have to even seal this back up. No air is getting in here. See, that's the concept here behind these wines and why they don't get the oxygen. As the wine is flowing out, they're in a vacuum sealed bag. Very, very obviously there's minuscule amounts of oxygen getting back in there because it has to come out. But it's mostly getting pushed out, and you're not going to have the contamination. You never have to worry about cork taint. You never have to worry about spoilage. You never have to worry about having a bottle drop and break. There are quite a few advantages, and I can tell you from my small experiment here, I have a feeling that there's going to be some boxed wines that I serve in the future. It doesn't seem like I was this guy. I had my nose in the air about these and thought, I'm too traditional for this. But you know what? If you want to drink young, fruity wines, that's the way they advertise this. They're not wines to be, you don't take a box and say, I'm going to keep this down in my basement for 2 years and break it out and see how it aged. That's not the point of boxed wine. Buy it and you drink it, you serve it. If you're having a big party, the economics of this is incredible. This box cost me $22. There are 4 bottles of wine in this box. Now you think about that. You all could do math. That's not even $6 a bottle. So this is much better than any $6 bottle of wine that I would buy that has 750 milliliters in it. So I'm a proponent so far. So this is stage 1 of my exploration of wines in a box. So I don't know what else to tell you about them. This has been a wonderful experiment. I am actually very pleased. It's not a great rosé, but you know what? Great rosés are hard to find. I drink a lot of rosé, and most of them are right there, and they're meant to sip and have a good time. You're not meant to sit there and go, ooh la la, best rosé I've ever had. That's not the point. The point is to have a good sip of it and drink it and not be turned off by what happens in your mouth when you sip it. And you're not going to be turned off by this one. And I took a gamble on this one because I know Grenache, or Garnacha, as it is called in Spain, is a fantastic grape. You can't really mess it up unless you're a poor winemaker. And I kudos, ole, to the winemaker that made this. So there you have it. Boxed Wines, episode 1. I can guarantee you I will be back based on this. I thought I was going to be like, well, these aren't so good. But you know what? I love these. They're really not bad. And for the wine that I drink and the company that I keep, these wines are going to find a place in my repertoire. And I hope you have a chance to go out and explore. I mean, you can buy these single packs. It's the same. They sell them in the grocery store. If you only want 3 glasses instead of a bottle, you're going to get it much cheaper. I don't know if they're all good. I read reviews. Some of the reviews said some of them, excuse my French, some of them suck. I haven't found that today. So I hope you have a chance to go do a little wine exploring, a little boxed wine exploring. You can get them all over the internet. My next adventure is going to be to try to get that 3-liter bottle of $95 wine from Tablas Creek, because I know their wines are good, and I'm expecting that wine will be fantastic. So until we talk again, cheers. Enjoy these last couple days of summer with a nice rosé or whatever it is you want to drink, and we'll see you again soon.